So this is my next attempt, or my second attempt at kind of, I guess you'd call it vlogging, but it's kind of not a vlog. I'm sort of talking to Billy here over at Veterans in Action, and the opportunity came up here to have a look at their podcasting studio, and being ever the opportunist I am, I figured that I could film an episode for my vlog, and I have to say I blindsided Bill. He didn't really know I was coming up to film this, but you know, who better a person to talk to than you, mate. So the studio's looking great. I'm really looking forward to seeing what you guys come out with and what happens. So yeah, just tell us a little bit more about what the aim is.
Well, it's kind of a new venture for us. We've done videos for a while and we're out in the field doing expeditions and stuff, but you came up here and filmed a few guys here last year.
The two Lewises. Yeah.
And myself, we filmed myself too. We did a few videos for our website. And their personal stories are really what hits home to veterans, and that's kind of what we try to create. We had a room that we could use, and we thought we'll build a little studio here. It's the first attempt at it, so we are here talking to you as the professionals and how we've done.
Yeah, professional, strong word. Trying to be professional.
Well, you know, like,
with your permission as well, I'll put those two interviews we've got on our YouTube channel. So the link for that will be in the description below. So, but yeah, I guess I just want to know a little bit more about the VIA. So, as you know, I mean, I'm asking this question. Obviously, I already know what the VIA does, but my channel, as you've seen, my aim is to kind of create this window into other charities where people can get help, and my aim is to kind of get people engaging, making comments and all that sort of stuff, because I'm obviously aware that, you know, it could be someone's final actions is just making a comment on how they love the Land Rover or something like that. So if you wouldn't mind just explaining to me again, you know, for the viewers, I guess, what it is VIA does.
Well, for you, John, out there, that one viewer, right?
Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah.
So for us, when we started doing videos, look, we had a grand idea, we're going to build this big YouTube channel, but we realised that YouTube's not really like that. You have to hit it at the right time and have the right audience. So for us, it became more of the audience, the people we help, and for people coming forward to look for help, they may not start by calling the charity. They may look at what information's out there, i.e. websites. YouTube became a place for us to say, look at us, this is what we do, come and get involved. You know, like, and like you've just said, the comments they make on these things could be the difference of life and death for some people. They're reaching out, you reply to them, and then they feel it's valued, and then hopefully then they'll come forward and look for a bit of help.
It's funny because it's not something that I ever, like, legitimately, it's not something that I ever thought about when I started, you know, making film. I was kind of like, oh, you know, this is just a bit of fun, like taking photos. But actually, like, the seriousness or the level of impact that YouTube could have, especially like seeing you guys, is massive. And every time I've been here, like, it's just nothing but positive. There's a giggle and happy, but there's just nothing but positivity around the place.
Well, positive has allowed you to move forward. You know, like, I've been working with PTSD for a long time. Our veterans suffering with PTSD. I've been there myself. 16 years I've been doing this, and you always have to be looking at new ways how you engage with veterans. If we say this is what we do and we only do that, there's nothing wrong with that as long as you're good at it. What we need to do with veterans is give them options. So they don't all want to build Land Rovers, which is the most visual part about what we do. Is like, the visual part is we build Land Rovers, look at these great trucks, but there's much more to it than that. So what about the people that don't build Land Rovers? They film people building Land Rovers, or they'll be filming this podcast.
Yeah, that's us, yeah.
And that's the idea, is that we give them something different to do that makes them feel they can contribute.
Yeah, and I think that's. So I genuinely think that is part of being a veteran. It's like, it's understanding, and I guess that's what I'm trying to reach out for, is that, you know, a lot of the charities out there, yourselves, maybe Turn to Starboard, maybe some other charities, they sort of have this kind of, it's not, I think niche is a strong word, but it's kind of like this, they center around engineering, flying maybe, sailing. But every time I go to these charities, I find that that's not the main thing. Like, yes, they, you know, soothe veterans' suffering or ease veterans' pain with sailing, but it's actually not the sailing that's there. It's the conversation, the camaraderie, the sort of fitting in that happens. So my idea to travel around the place and meet everybody is just literally by saying, you know, look, there's got to be something that will fit in with your lifestyle. If you're struggling, there's got to be something somewhere.
It's very easy to say. If somebody that knows Veterans in Action, they go, what do Veterans in Action do? They go, oh, they build Land Rovers. That's not what we do. What we do is we build people. The Land Rovers is the medium we use to build people. So it's about getting hands-on with other people on a project that's really, really positive, working alongside their peers, and like you say, the banter that goes with that, the shared knowledge, the shared instruction that they give each other. You know, like we're re-enhancing the skills that maybe some of them had, and what they get to do is use them skills to help the people they're working with. So it's bigger than we build Land Rovers. That's just the medium, and the important thing is we build people. And there's all different ways to do that. So as I said earlier on, like or teaching people to be cameramen or whatever for expeditions or projects for YouTube. What happens is, if you have two different projects, they generally don't work with each other. So we're very conscious of that. We're very conscious of everybody working to the same aim. So those that are building Land Rovers, the guys that's doing the film them building Land Rovers, it means the communication's still there. The banter that goes with the filming and the building really, really works. So it's about bringing these projects together in a way that everybody's involved in the same project, even though they're doing a different aspect of it.
It's so funny because we touched on it actually off camera earlier. Some of these charities, I know you're very different because you're very open to to collaborating with other people. But a lot of these kind of charities, they seem to sort of, it's them over here, it's them over there, it's them over there, and they don't kind of connect. And I think that it's really important that, because you must have had it where a veteran comes to you and they sort of go, I really need help, but I'm not into Land Rovers and I don't particularly like it here, and you're able to then go, well, go and try such and such down the road, or like go and and I think that's the kind of, I think there's a little bit of missing there, that you know, we're all in the same boat. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's very true. And so there's high adrenaline charities, and I'll use like Mission Motorsport as an example of that. They'll throw people around a racetrack, absolutely brilliant. Taking place over a weekend or a weekday or something like that, so a 1 day or a 2 day event, and then we fill the gap in between that. So like we're open 5 or 6 days a week, and what veterans can do, we're the grounding charity. So when you have these high peaks of adrenaline rushes, doing really exciting stuff, really good fun stuff, we're the one you can back in your ground and get back to normality again. We've got to sweep the floor, we've got to kind of clean up, we've got to do this, the normal stuff that's life, that we try to introduce people into again. Because what happens with any mental health illness or PTSD is we retreat inside ourselves, we don't communicate, we don't do the normal things that we do not like in life. We try to reintroduce that again and have a good time doing it.
Yeah.
You know, have a bit of a laugh. Like,
that's the most important thing, isn't it? Just like I think like the work will be a real serious place, and I think that somebody said to me recently, in fact I think it was a TikTok that I watched, where they're interviewing the US, somebody in the US Army, and they're saying, you know, who's the hardest or who's the best that you've worked alongside, and they always say the Brits. And somebody said to them, you know, why is the Brits? And they said that there is, like, the food they eat is terrible, the weather in their country is awful, but I've never worked alongside a group of people that just remain so positive in the face of adversity. Like, they will sit down and brew up a cup of tea in the middle of a firefight. And, you know, and I think that's what makes us unique. And actually, I think that when you come outside, like, you've got to kind of embrace that a little bit. Do you know what I mean? Life can be a bit shit, but laugh in the face of it, and yeah. But
that's the exact thing. Life is shit.
Yeah.
You have to make it good.
Yeah.
You know, like, so if we just let everything envelope us and kind of weigh us down, then life is total bollocks, like, you know. But what you have to do is you have to have glimmers of, this is a good fun, you know.
Yeah.
This is good fun. I'm going to go up there because I have a good laugh.
Yeah.
But there's a time to be serious in any charity. It's a serious business, you know. Like, and so there's time to be serious, but that's always kind of balanced by the good times you have.
Yeah.
So what the work that we do, the longevity of building a Land Rover, it can be an 18-month process, like, you know, but that gives us the time to look at everything that's not PTSD. So PTSD is surrounded by a myriad of other problems like housing, your army compensations, like all this kind of stuff, war pensions. What that longevity gives us is gives us the time to look at everything that's not PTSD. So in the end, we're working solely with PTSD. If you look at veterans who go into therapy and that type of stuff, but there's nothing wrong with therapy. Therapy's definitely got its place. But if we don't look at all the stuff that surround the PTSD, when therapy's over, they get back to the same problems. Our way is to look at how do we alleviate all the problems so they're starting on a level playing field to grow as an individual, and that's called post-traumatic growth.
It's so interesting. I could talk for hours about this. Like so just recently, well, as everyone has, I suppose, in January, like my business has gone for a bit of a tough time. Everything's been a bit tricky. But the one thing that came out of all of it was like, I'm actually quite pleased with the resilience in my own mental health. Like there was a time that I'd have found things difficult and I'd have maybe, you know, had a drink, or I'd have maybe, you know, gone a bit off the rails. But actually, like through visiting places like this, through going to Turn to Starboard, going to other charities, Woodland Warrior Programme's another one, I've actually managed to kind of like build this resilience. And I think my message, if I could tell anybody, my message would be, when the times are good, that's when the maintenance needs to continue. Like, I think we're all capable. It's probably a bloke thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's all good. Let's just chuck it away. It's fine. But I think that's where places like the VIA is so important, because like, you come here Monday or Friday or whenever you need to come here in the week, and actually that little maintenance piece is just like the piece that might stop you going into crisis.
Yeah, it's listening to other people's stories as well. Like, you know, when you realise what happens with mental health, you get overwhelmed by it. You think it's just me suffering. The answer is, if we share that, if we talk about our experiences, and I'm not talking about war stories here. We don't really do that here.
It's council tax bills.
We talk about that thing in a shell hole brewing a cup of tea when there's a firefight going on.
Yeah.
That's the stuff you talk about and you laugh about and all the bollocks that goes with that. In fact, what veterans were really, really good at, and I would say we're probably the experts in the world at it, we talk bollocks.
Yeah.
And bollocks is the best speak you ever do.
Yeah.
And it's the kind of grounding part of everything we do here. Sitting around a campfire talking absolute crap is the healer for me. Yeah. You know, that is the way where we feel we've all got an input, we all laugh at each other, and that's just the British squaddy way, like, you know.
So I don't know about you, right? So when I was I remember, so whenever I was deployed, there used to be this conversation of what's the first meal you're going to have when you get home, and that is an example of talking bollocks.
Yeah.
Like, it's just on watch, middle of the night. So I'm going to do my YouTube bit here. I'm making no apologies. So if you're a veteran and you have talked bollocks, and there's a memorable talking bollocks story you've got, please check it in the comments below.
For a podcast,
talking bollocks. Brilliant.
You know, like, we'd be pretty good at that.
Yeah.
I think we probably excel, you know, like, because I think that's where we're comfortable.
Thank you so much for inviting us. Thank you for letting me blindside you and helping me promote my channel. I will put all of the VIA links to all their social media in the comments below. And yeah, if there's anything you need to say, mate, now do it.
Look, this is about growing together. So you're going to help us.
100%.
We are starting this new project of podcasts. I think we're going to call it In Their Own Words.
Oh, lovely.
So it is about honest, positive stories. We don't want to concentrate on the bad because there's enough of that out there. We want to concentrate on real positive stories of growth and people achieving far beyond their expectations.
Epic, mate. Thank you very much. So yeah, like and subscribe, and I guess without trying to sound like a wannabe YouTuber, see you next time.